Blessed are you, O Christ child, that your cradle was so low that shepherds, the poorest and simplest of earthly people, could kneel beside you and look level eyed into the very face of God. Blessed One, we come to you in reverence. Now, I know very little about that prayer, except that it comes from Uganda. I don't know if it was written by the great, high, and exalted head of a church or by some unknown person who left it on a scrap of paper, not unlike the origins of Silent Night, apparently. I don't know if it was written by some profound theologian to inspire students to write wonderful prayers. I don't even know if it was written by a Methodist. All I know is its place of origin. Now, I suppose if I did some research, I could probably find all those answers. But I have resisted the temptation because for me, the lack of specifics speaks of the incarnation, which gives all a significance beyond anyone's wildest dreaming. Think of Bethlehem. Few people had even heard of it, even in Jesus' day. And if it hadn't been for the events of that cold night, few of us would have today. But the incarnation did happen. And we all know about the little town of Bethlehem, how still we see thee lie. The gift of God Emmanuel affirmed the value of Bethlehem and the shepherds and the unknown writer of this prayer. It honors all people in Uganda and here and all points in between. The last and the least are no more. They are far more than even they could have dreamt. What does Mary say in her Magnificat? God has brought down the powerful from their thrones and lifted up the lowly. In other words, we may all gaze level eyed on the very face of God. We may all know that we are of significance and worth and value, and that we are all children of God. Now, that, believe it or not, may be a challenge to hear. For some, if your worth and value comes from stuff and power and status, this whole thing might be really difficult to hear, let alone live. And if you've spent a lifetime being told that you're not of any worth or value, then this truth might also be really difficult to hear, let alone to live. But the good news is this: it is an invitation that shines as brightly as the light of a star in a cold night sky, to believe and to hope and to love. You see, it's God's promise and prayer to us all from the very beginning of time. We, none of us, are overlooked or unloved or forgotten. We, like the shepherds in this prayer, looked level eyed on the very face of God. In our daily living, wherever we are and however we are called to live our lives that others too might touch and know and live this truth. It is what makes us truly human, truly who God created us to be. Anything less, and we become less than who we were meant to be. The point is this: The prayer may well have been written by an anonymous person in some part of far off Uganda that I will never know anything about, but God knows, and God loves, and God rejoices, and that has made all the difference. I am called, and you are called, and the whole church is called, and all in authority are called, and everyone, we are all called to make the difference wherever and however we are. May you have a glorious and blessed Christmas and a wonderful new year.